Hi guys, welcome back to another tutorial. My name is Blessing, and in this tutorial I'll be sharing with you how to cut and sew a corset top. Alright, so this is the fabric that we are going to be using, and this is the bias that matches the fabric that we are going to be using to create our bone channels. Okay, because we are going to be using a plastic bone. So this is a plastic bone. It is a non-sewable bone. Okay, so we're going to be using the bias as the channel where we're going to be passing the bone, and this is the bra cup. This is just a sample. At the course of the tutorial I'll be using a bigger size of the bra cup because this is just a smaller size when I started shooting the video. So I'm going to start by marking or drafting a basic bodice for the top. Okay, this is not a complete basic body pattern, so if you don't know how to begin, I'll be linking that in the description box. Okay, but with this you should be able to understand how it will continue or how it all started. All right, so these are the basic line I'm marking, which is the chest line, the bust line, we have the under bust. All right, then I have the top length. Okay, so I did not create the waistline because my under bust and my waist are actually the same measurement. So right now I am marking out the shoulder measurement. That's your shoulder to shoulder. For me it is 14, so I marked out 7 inches. Then on the chest line I went ahead to measure out the bust line divided by 4. Okay, so I came up here to come down by 1 inch for the shoulder slant. Then I'm going to do a basic neckline. Okay, this would actually not be needed, but I'm just drafting it so that you can understand what your pattern should look like. Okay, so this upper part will actually not be needed, so I'm going to be dividing the remaining part into 2 so that I can draft out or draw out the arm or curve. Okay, so this is almost a basic bodice already. All right, so now the next thing I want to do is to mark out my nipple to nipple measurement, and for me my nipple to nipple measurement is 7 divided by 2 is 3.5. So I'm going to be marking that all the way from the chest line down to the top length. Okay, so guys, the next thing I want to do now is to take out our underbust contouring, and from the underbust, on the center part I went in by 1 inch, and on the side I went in by 1.5. So this depends on how busted the person is. For me, my bust is 39 inches. So if your bust is above 42, 43 upward, you can as well use 2 inches on the side front, 2 inches, 2.5 inches, okay, to create a more curvy effect for the bust point. Okay, so now this is what we have. We're going to be connecting the under bust to the bust point, but we are going to be going up by half an inch at the top and below, just so we don't have a pointy bust line. Okay, you can see the way I'm placing my curve. Then I'll turn it to the other side and also connect to the bust point like so. All right, so that is that for the under bust and the top length contouring. So for the over bust contouring now, I do not want this corset to be too open. So if you don't want your cleavage to be too exposed, so you can come up a little from the chest line. So for me, I came up by 1 inch from the chest line. So from there now I'm going to be doing my over bust contouring. I hope you understand. But if you want your cleavage to be a little bit open, then you can just contour at the chest line that you've marked out already. So now for the over bust contouring, I'll be going out by 0.75 on that part, on the side front, and on the center front I'll be going in by 0.5. all right, this also depends on how busty you are, or for the person you are trying to sew for. If the person is a bit busty, you can use 1 inch on both sides or 0.75 on both sides. All right, so this is it for the over bust contouring. You can see that we are almost getting there to get our cups ready. All right, so the next thing we want to do now is to mark out 0.75 like so, or 0.5 because you don't want the center part to be too wide. So 0.5 is fine on the center front, just marked like so. Then we are going to connect to this part of the cup, just the way you see me do. All right, so you can see what we have. Then from that part, we'll connect down to the under bust. Okay, so the 0.5 was actually marked on the chest line and the bust line. Okay, so the center front part of the cup is completely ready. So to mark out the side front, we are going to add 1 inch to our nipple to nipple measurement to create that part, because our breast is usually fuller at the side compared to the front. So now a part where we have our shoulder line and the bust measurement measured on the chest line, you come down, you divide into 2 first, then you come down by 1/2 inch. That is the point over there. So from there we'll connect to the under bust. Okay, you connect to the under bust, then from there we'll connect to the other leg of the over bust, contouring like so, just the way you see me do. Then you mark a straight line from that point. I hope you understand. Okay, if you don't understand, you can just repeat the process or you watch again so that you understand. So now this measurement that we have between the shoulder and the over bust is what we are going to be having as our strap. Okay, because it's going to be having a strap, not a yoke. Okay, so we're going to be keeping that in mind. Now the next thing we want to do is to take our body measurement we have for the chest line already. Then for the bust line is bust divided by 4. For the under bust, it's going to be your under bust divided by 4. Then we are going to measure what we have as our dart intake. We are going to be replacing the measurement we have for our dart intake. Note, this is not your sewing allowance. Okay, we are going to be repeating this for the top length as well. Okay, your sewing allowance will be added by the time you are transferring to your fabric. Okay, so we're going to repeat that for the top length. We measure our top length, that's wherever you want your top to stop. That's the circumference of that place. You divide it into 4. Whatever you have, you mark, then you replace the dart intake. Okay, so for the chest line as well, I'm replacing my dart intake. Then I'm going to go ahead and shape the sides like so. So guys, after shaping, this is what we have. The next thing we want to do now is to do our side or our bust dart. Okay, your bust dart. To have your bust dart is the difference between the front half length and the back half length. Okay, so whatever you have, for me it is 1. So I'll be reducing the side by 1 like this. Then I connected to the bust point. After that, I'm going to go ahead to cut this line open so that I can fold out the dart intake for the side or for the bust dart. Okay, you fold that line straight, then you fold it on top of the initial line you have. So that is how you fold it out. Then you allow it to blend right into the bust area. Then I'm going to be pinning this down with our masking tape. All right, then I'm going to continue cutting out. Okay, before that, I'm going to be blending the lines together, because by the time you mark out your bust dart, those lines will eventually not be equal again, so you have to blend them together. All right, just the way you see me do, you're going to be blending them together. All right, so that is how you achieve that. So continue with our cutting now. Please watch closely so that you can know the part that you need to cut and the parts you do not need to cut away. Then watch the way I cut so that you will know the part or the side and how you should cut it. I hope you understand. Okay, so this is it. Like I said, the upper part, we do not need it. We only want to know what the length of that yoke will be, so that will serve as the length of our strap. Right? So if you have watched to this extent and you are yet to subscribe, guys, I do not know what you're waiting for. Please do, because you're going to be learning a lot in this channel. As God permits me, I'm going to be posting as much as I can just for you to learn something. Okay, And before you are done watching, please give this video a giant thumbs up. I do not want you to forget that, okay? Thank you. Alright, so these are the parts we have. I'm going to be numbering them so that we do not miss any of the numbers, alright? So we have 4 parts here for the front piece. So this is what we have for the front piece. We are going to be setting this aside while I'm going to be cutting the upper part of it, okay? Because I'm going to be keeping it so that it will help me to remember the length I need for the strap. So for the front part, this is what we are going to be measuring from the shoulder down to that over bust, okay? So I have about 6 inches there, so that will serve as my length for the strap for the front. So right now we are at the back piece. So I'm also going to be marking out all the measurements or the basic measurements that we need. Don't forget, I said I'm going to be linking the basic pattern on the description box, just in case you do not know how we achieve this properly. All right, I'm sorry the camera didn't capture a little side of it, but as we continue, the other parts are going to be seen clearly. So I'm just going ahead to mark out all the horizontal measurement, which is the chest line, the bust line, the waist, okay? The waist was not included initially, but I had to include it later because we do not, I was not going to be using my underbust for the back piece. I hope you understand. Then the top length. So I also went ahead to measure or to mark out the shoulder measurement, then the neckline, okay? Just as if you are trying to draft out your basic bodice, okay? Right, so I'm going to be doing this as well. I'll mark out my chest or my bust measurement on the chest line so that I can be able to mark out my armhole curve. Alright, so after achieving this, I'm going to go ahead to measure my nipple to nipple measurement just the way I did for the front, so that we can have our dart line. Okay, so for the back is our dart line that we need. We are not going to be contouring any part. Alright, so this is the part where I included the waist measurement. Alright, so that's my waist, that's the chest line, the bust line, the waist, then below is the top length. Alright, so I'm going to be marking on my waistline now our normal dart intake of 0.5 on both sides, which I went ahead to do also at the top length. Then I marked a straight line like so to connect the waist and the top length. Then I marked them right to the bust line like this, as though we are marking a basic dart. So because I do not want to include any dart at the back piece, so I want to take it out. So I went ahead to just remove 0.5 on both sides on the chest line area, so that that part is going to be folded out. We do not need to add a dart behind, okay, because it's a corset top. Okay, so right now I'm marking my basic measurement on the chest line, bust line, waist, and top length. All right, so note that this back pattern, we didn't include a zipper, okay, because we are going to be having a lacing bar, okay, at the back. So there was no zipper allowance included. Instead, we are going to be deducting from the center back right now to create that opening at the center back, just the way we see corset tops or corset dresses. So now I have deducted 1 inch from the chest line down to the top length, 1 inch from the chest line down to the top length, okay, all the way. So this back is not going to be needed. So we did not include our zipper line, and we still deducted 1 inch from the center back, okay. So this is the lower part that has not been seen since. I hope you can see it clearly now. This is the back piece, which is ready. So for that just line, you can leave it straight, and if you like, you can make a curve. And for the lacing bar, that's the part which I'm cutting off. If you like, at the chest line, you can open up to 2 inches, then below you leave up to 1. No problem. It depends on how you want to shape your back. So for the dart, this is how I'm going to be folding it out. You can see I did not cut. If you like, you can cut it out and join the piece together again, but I think this is better to have a straight pattern. So I just folded out the dart line. Okay, note I did not return the dart to the basic bodice. I did not return it because we will not be needing it. So that is the lower part for the back pattern. Then for the upper part, this we are going to be measuring together. Measurement for the strap that we are going to be needing for the back piece. Okay, so now we are going to be needing 2 pieces of this, and for the center front is going to be cut on fold. So the one I marked 2 times, that means we need 2 pieces for each of the pattern. All right. Then for the back and the front, this is what I have. Joining the yoke together, ensuring that the armhole are facing the right or the same direction. So by the time you measure the length now, this is going to give you the length for your strap. So I have 13 inches here, 6 for the front and 7 for the back. You know, for the front we came up by 1 inch. That's why it is 6, because my chest line is actually 7. So now I have transferred all the pattern to the fabric and also to the lining, adding half an inch on all the sides, except for the side front, they added 1 inch, okay, as our sewing allowance. Okay, so I have cut them out for both the lining and the main fabric. This is the center front. I cut it out on fold. That marks meant to cut on fold. Then I added half an inch allowance to other sides. Then this is our back piece. Okay, the fabric and also the pattern, I added half an inch for the upper part. Then for the side, I added 1 inch. Other side, I added half an inch. So for the center back, I notched to make me know that that is the center back. Then for the upper part, I also notch to make me know that that is the upper part. Okay, so this is it. That is the arrow. Whatever that will make you understand your pattern, please mark it on your fabric. So those notches tells me that is the upper part and also the center back. So guys, this is what we have, and in my next video I'm going to be sharing with you how I'm going to be joining all of these patterns together, because we are going to be adding our paper stay, whatever interfacing you want to use, whether your paper stay or your hair stay, you add to your fabric, and also your lining if you want. And this is what you are going to be seeing in the next video. I'm going to be sharing with you how this is going to be achieved. Don't forget to subscribe so that you will know when the video for the sewing will be uploaded. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.